Today we have Gymshark athlete, ex-pro footballer, soccer coach and shredded Scotsman, Graeme Eaglesham stopping by. How are we, mate?
All right, David, thanks for having me, mate. Glad to be on.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I'm really excited for this one, not only because you're a good guy from my local town or near my local town, it's because you're such a good example of how social media can be used in a positive light. Can you give the listeners a brief elevator pitch of who Graeme Eaglesham is, or Geeks Fit, for those who haven't seen you on Instagram paying the man?
Yeah, I guess a quick elevator speech would be just a guy that likes fitness, soccer, and just posting about his life from Scotland, but now live in America. So there's a bit of random lifestyle posting in there. But yeah, just a fitness fanatic and love of football as well.
We usually take it back to day one with people in the podcast that I've had on so far, but I think we're on day 2010. What am I referring to here, mate?
Oh, you're probably referring to something I call Quest to be a Gymshark, where I started a bit of a journey about 5.5 years ago on Instagram, posting every day in this kind of journey to try and join the Gymshark team. So I think that's what you're referring to on Instagram.
It definitely is, mate. Can you give the listeners a roadmap or a life cycle of what it is to be on a quest to be a Gymshark and why did it begin?
Well, I guess I'll go back a little bit. Before Quest to be a Gymshark started, I was always just played football, was a professional football player, came to America, played football in college here. Then at one point, I went through an injury. I tore my ACL in my knee, so I wasn't able to play football again. And then after that, I was like, what am I going to do now? And then it was kind of at that point is when I found Gymshark and sort of like fitness YouTube. This is back in like 2012, 2013. And then ultimately what happened was I just thought, oh, I see a lot of these Gymshark athletes on YouTube posting content and, showing what Gymshark is. And I just thought that was a great idea. Then eventually what happened was I thought, well, how can I become a Gymshark? How do you go about doing that? These guys have great physiques, or they're doing this, that, and the next thing. How can you do that? And then what it led to was I started something called Quest to be a Gymshark on Instagram, where I'd post every day, most of the time wearing Gymshark or doing something in my life that was, around either Gymshark or just working out and posting that content. So it would go from Quest to be a Gymshark day 1, Quest to be a Gymshark day 2, so on and so forth. And then it just kind of snowballed into this thing. And then now we're part of the team.
Do you remember what the first post was and where it was taken?
I do. It was, again, when I first started Quest to be a Gymshark, I didn't know what was going to happen, or didn't put too much thought into it. And the first post was, I think it was just like a random back shot. I already had it in my camera roll from like a few weeks ago. Like I did a back workout and someone just popped a picture, like a back shot, and I was like, oh, I guess that'll be a good one. And it's still on there, obviously. And I just posted that and just said, all right, I'm going to start this Quest to be a Gymshark. There wasn't like any too much thought into it. And I just started rolling from there. That was the first post.
So as you heard me refer in the intro, we're on day 2010. So that's a serious indication of commitment. But why did you choose a full social media strategy almost towards Gymshark and not another brand in the industry? Why Gymshark?
It was I was thinking about this the other day, and it was just like kind of perfect timing, if you will. Like this was back when I lived in Scotland. So tore my ACL. This was like in 2012. So I had actually known Gymshark for 2 or 3 years before I started Quest to be a Gymshark. So the reason it was Gymshark that I wanted to be on the team of, right when I tore my ACL and couldn't play football anymore, it was like, honestly, that's all I did for like 20 years of my life pretty much. So I was like, right, what am I going to do now? And it was almost perfect timing where a couple of my friends from Girvan, Rory and David, I went to the gym and they were the guys that were wearing Gymshark at the time. And this is when I think this was 2012 actually. And I was kind of like, what's that you guys are wearing? And then that's when they were like, oh, you got to check this out. This is a cool brand from England that's just started. They've got all these athletes on YouTube that post motivational workout content and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, wow, that's awesome. And then really at that point, it was working out and Gymshark that kind of took the place of me not being able to play football. So I was just kind of connected to the brand from there and just the story behind it. And that's what I wanted to sort of work towards. So that's the connection that I had with Gymshark even before Quest B.
So it sounds like that was not only your introduction to Gymshark, but your introduction to online content. What Gymshark athletes were you watching back then?
You know, back then it was Chris Lovato, Matt Ogus, Lex Griffin, even Jeff Side was sponsored by Gymshark then. Christian
Guzman, yeah.
Yep, Christian Guzman was sponsored by Gymshark. Mark Fitt. So a lot of the OGs, that's who I was watching on YouTube at that time.
So at that point, you must have recognised it takes a lot of commitment, time, patience, and hard work to be a professional footballer. I know you played for, was it Partick and Queen's Park?
Queen's Park, yep.
And then that North Star came to an end because of your ACL injury, and you're like, how do I apply that to something else? And it was just, like you said, it was lucky timing that you were introduced to online content and Gymshark at the same time, and they were your new North Star. So how supportive was Girvan and Maidens in Ayrshire or Scotland towards your career in football and then your career in online content?
You know, it was, I would say the first part of the question when I was trying to be a football player, I would say everyone was pretty supportive for the most part. That's really all I did, and all I was really kind of known for was, oh, he plays football, and that's just kind of what he does. I guess it was probably just when you're a bit younger, you know, at one point your friends maybe start going out drinking and stuff like that when you're younger. And if you're playing football, the decision I made was to not go and do that really that often. So, you know, maybe there's a bit of pushback at that point when, you know, maybe some of the lads are like, oh, how are you know coming out drinking or whatever. That would happen sometimes over the years. But apart from that, really everyone was super supportive, especially my family. They were driving me all over the place, or my dad was driving me all over the place when I was younger to don't play football. And at that point, when I stopped playing football and started going to the gym, this was, you know, years ago now, maybe 9 years ago, the fitness online scene really was just starting. So maybe I had just started posting on Instagram a couple of workouts or maybe like a physique update. And at that point, there was definitely a case of like, what's going on here? Or why is he taking a picture of his top off kind of thing? There was definitely, it wasn't really the norm back then, if we can call it normal now, but it was a bit different because that wasn't really a thing to do. But when you watched online, you know, obviously the world's massive and you saw a lot of people doing it there. So that's where I thought, oh, this looks pretty cool to me. But maybe more locally, it was kind of like, well, I'm not too sure what's going on here. And people weren't used to that. I mean, fast forward to today and I live in America and it's like fitness is massive and it's just kind of like part of people's lifestyle and stuff. So it's definitely way more supported, I would say, these days.
Do you not think growing up the norm was every boy or perhaps girl wanted to be a professional footballer? That was a limelight career. I think online influencing and YouTube and fitness is the new footballer, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely when I was younger, that was all I wanted to do was play football, and especially when I was way younger, like social media wasn't really a thing at all until I got a bit older, and then it obviously just grew to what it is today. But definitely, like when I speak to, you know, any kids that are soccer schools and stuff like that or football schools, all they're talking about is like YouTubers and TikTokers, and it's crazy. But yeah, you're right. Like they are sometimes the thing people want to try and be.
So when you started that back in Girvan and Maidens, how did your family react to your online content and your quest to be a Gymshark, and how did your friends from that same area react?
Well, I guess when I started Quest to be a Gymshark, I lived in America. Actually, at that point, I was living in California, so I was sort of removed from um, Girvan and Maidens, I would say, when I was doing that specifically. So I don't really know how that would have been perceived, but especially my family, like they got to know what Gymshark was, and they love Gymshark now, and they loved the story. So it was they definitely supported it. But I'm not too sure what it would have been perceived at back home. I guess I wasn't there.
And probably it was probably best that you didn't know, because being local myself, and especially at that time when you were doing that, you'd have been seen as an outcast and a bit of a weirdo doing that. But now, like we said, it's like the complete norm. All of our friends probably have a fitness account. So we spoke about day 2010, day one. What moment did you get first recognized by Gymshark?
Oh, this is actually I'll answer the question first, and I'll go back to a little bit of a story. So, it was on basically the year anniversary, like day 365. Posted day 365, and then I woke up on that day or whatever, and I checked my phone and I had a DM from like the Gymshark Instagram account, and I just went, "What is going on?" And I was like, "Is this a fake profile or something?" Checked the DM, and it was like a message from the Gymshark account saying, "Graeme, just wanted to congratulate you on day 365. We've been following along your journey. It's awesome. Super inspiring. Can you send us your address? We want to send you something, I guess, as like a well done kind of thing." And I was just like, "Oh my god, what is going on?" So obviously sent them the information, and they'd sent me sort of like a care package to say well done. Ben Francis had wrote like a handwritten card of saying like, "We'll be following along your quest to be a Gymshark. It's really motivating. Keep it going." And I was just like, "Oh my god, that is mental." So that was the first time, I guess, I felt that they'd noticed it. But fast forward, when I ended up going to visit the headquarters, sort of the head of the social community is a guy called Alfred Samba, and he said to me, he was like, "Graeme, my first day on the job was that during the first week that I started Quest to be a Gymshark, like on the first week," and he was like, "We saw it on the social team,
No
and we
way.
were like, watch out for this Quest to be a Gymshark thing that's going on." So Alfred started working at Gymshark. He's like the head of the social community, and he was like, on his first week, he said, "Watch out for this Quest to be a Gymshark thing that's going on." Fast forward, like after like 3 years, I actually met him and he told me that story, and I'm like, "No way." So it was just crazy.
That's mental.
So they saw it on the first week that I posted, apparently, and then it just rolled from there.
That really alludes on to something nicely that I wanted to ask. So you said you first you first noticed that you got recognized 365 days in, which is 365 posts. Between day one and day 365, was there any point where you thought, this is stagnant, my wheels are spinning, why am I doing this? And almost wanted to give up?
So I'll say the answer to that would probably have been no, and I'll tell you why. So when I thought about Quest to be a Gymshark for quite a while, and I was just like, right, I'm gonna do this. And I was like, what ultimately what it comes down to is I'm like, what could separate me to be able to get to that level of what I'm trying to achieve? And it was like, I'm not gonna have the best physique in the world. There's other things that goes into it. So I was like, what can I do? And I was like, I know for a fact I can post every day. I can be consistent. I can work hard. I'm trying to do it for good reasons so I can show people what hard work can get you, not just ridiculous amounts of talent or amazing genetics or whatever. I wanted to be like, these are tangible things you could do. So before, I was like, I'm all right if this doesn't happen. Like, I love Gymshark. I wear it all the time. This is before. Like, I love what the brand stands for. I love what the athletes do. I'm always going to be wearing Gymshark anyway. I like social media. I'm always going to be posting anyway. So before I set out, before Quest to be a Gymshark, day one, I was like, I'm just going to do this because it's part of my life now. And if I don't become a Gymshark, that's fine, because I like doing this anyway, and it's going to be part of my life. I'm not doing it for any other reason than the fact that I like it and I like what it stands for. So I didn't want it, like, there was no way I was going to give up or was going to stop, because I was like, let's do it.
Do you think if you applied that same model to, for example, a brand that didn't resonate with you, for example, Adidas because they're huge or Nike because they're huge, but you didn't resonate it, do you think you would have had that same motivation? Or do you think what I'm trying to say here is, do you think if you did it for what the process rewarded you with, you would have been as successful? Or do you think it's only because you enjoyed the process so much of becoming a Gymshark?
Yeah, it's definitely, you've got to be connected to the why behind what you're doing, you know? Like, you have to, there's got to be something that likes a bit of a fire in you that's like, I want to do this, you know, like, this is all I want to do, or this is what I'm motivated by. There's got to be a little motivating factor. Like, there was things that happened, like, say, even before I started Quest to be a Gymshark, I'll go back now, like, say I moved back to Scotland, I was going to play professional football again, but within a month, I tore my ACL, and then I had to get a job. I worked for the Royal Mail, and it was Maybole. Maybole is where I was delivering letters, but at this point, I'd found Gymshark, and I was loving the content, and I was just loving the brand. There was days, I think at least 2 times in my life, I have delivered Gymshark packages as a mailman to houses in Maybole. Like, honestly, I was like, this, I can't explain it. It was just like, this is what I want to do. I love Gymshark and I love what it stands for. So I want to train to try and get to that level. So there's little things like that that connect me to this kind of story or this quest to be. So, like, even things like when you've hand delivered packages when you were a mailman, and now you can kind of go through that journey and become part of the Gymshark team. There's something that just keeps it going. So if there's a little turning point that can motivate you to something that you're trying to do, you hold on to those little things, and it fuels the fire a little bit.
I love that. I'm so glad that you're able to reflect on that and find that euphoria and sense of reward from that. So when was your first tangible connection with Gymshark?
So, I mean, say I got that package after day 365, and then honestly, mate, there was probably about, from day 365 to day 1000, there wasn't much movement, honestly. Like, that was within that period, you know, there was a few, maybe, I don't know, Gymshark liked a few posts or whatever, but there wasn't too much engagement within that period of time. So that was a bit of a, not much happening within that. I was just grinding it out just day after day, and it just kept compounding. But then, you know, I noticed leading up to day 1000, there was like people started commenting a bit more and were like, oh, almost day 1000, what's going on? Or what are you going to post for day 1000? There was a bit of interest generating there. And then the day that I posted day 1000, it just went nuts, really, to be honest. Say the post, I think I'd maybe just competed like a month or so before, so I had like a physique update video footage, and I just did like a voiceover to be like, thanks guys, day 1000, ready to keep going, just a kind of voiceover, and I just posted the clip, and it just went nuts. It's still on there. Then there was like just people started like tagging Gymshark and tagging Ben Francis and Noel Mack, and just writing a lot of nice things. The comments are class. But it just started blowing up as soon as I posted it. And then what happened was, within 10 minutes of posting it, the chief brand officer, Noel Mack, like, commented, and he was like, congratulations, brother, check your DM. And he DM'd me. And I'm just going, oh my God, what? So he's DMing, and he's like, oh, congratulations, mate. What's the best email address for you or whatever? Sent him my email address, and I'm like, no clue what is going on here. Like, still getting loads of comments. People are still tagging loads of people. And I'm just like, this is nuts. So basically, after that day 1000, I gave Noel the email address, and then someone from the Gymshark, sort of the team in the headquarters, emailed me, and they were just sort of like, "Love what you're doing, Graeme. Are you?" That's what it was. I was going to the Mr. Olympia convention in Las Vegas. It's a big fitness convention. This was maybe like a month or so later. I was planning on going to the Olympia, and I guess they must have known this from me posting about it previously. They were like, "Would you like to do a Gymshark photo shoot when you're there in Vegas?" And I'm going, "Oh my God." And it was with Chris Bailey, who's a big fitness photographer. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, yes, that'd be amazing. So we sorted that out, went to the Olympia, did the photo shoot with Chris Bailey in Las Vegas. I'm like, this is a Gymshark photo shoot, and I'm in Vegas. Like, it was just crazy. So I'm just going, oh my God, this is mental. Did that. That was quality. And then after I got back from Vegas, see that the Olympia's in like September, maybe October. So kind of the month after, I got an email again, and they were asking, "Graeme, are you going to be back in Scotland for Christmas? Because we'd love to invite you down to the HQ for like our staff Christmas party / Christmas lunch." And I'm just going, no chance, man. What? Then obviously I'm like, yeah, that'll be amazing. I'm going to be here on these days or whatever. And they were just like, can you come down on, I'm pretty sure it was like the 19th of December or something. Like, can you block off the full day? Because Ben would like to meet you and, you know, learn about your story, or go to the gym with you, get a workout. And I'm just going, what is actually happening here? What is this? So sorry, I've just went on a total tangent there. But to answer your question, that was kind of like the first time that I was like, what is this? You know, that was like a tangible. It was kind of nothing much from 365 to day 1000. Day 1000, it went nuts. Then some stuff started happening after that. It just started snowballing.
It just shows you though. I think the theme there is from day 1 to 365. You could have given up at any point. You could have given up in 364, and the next day is when the goal was achieved, the interaction or whatever. And then you could have given up on day 999, but the next day, the invite to the Mr. Olympia would have came in your inbox. It's just a testament of consistency over time in the right direction, opposed to speed and velocity in the wrong direction.
Yep.
So you had that invite to the Christmas party or Christmas lunch. How was that? What did the day look like? Where was it?
Right. This is absolutely mental. So I'll give you a bit of a, before I actually got to the HQ, I'll give you a bit of a backstory. So I've came back to Scotland for Christmas. I'm at my mum's in Maidens. And the plan was I was supposed to be flying from Glasgow to Birmingham on, like, say, the flight was going to be at like 6 in the morning. Maybe like 7 in the morning or something, wherever the flight was supposed to be, fly to Birmingham, go there. I was supposed to be there by like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That was the plan. For some reason, I woke up in the middle of the night at like 2 a.m., checked my emails, and the flight had been cancelled. Like, my flight that was supposed to be from Glasgow at 6 or 7 in the morning just got cancelled. And I checked. For some reason, I never do this. Never check my emails in the middle of the night. For some reason, checked my email. I think I was a bit jet lagged or whatever, so I was awake, checked the email, flight cancelled, and I'm going, oh my God. And then obviously I'm in Scotland just on holiday, basically. I don't have a car because my car's here in America, obviously. I woke my dad up. I'm like, Dad, the flight's cancelled. And then I'm like, oh my God, what are we going to do? So what happened then was we'd woke up and we're sitting there for like 15 minutes, like, right, how are we going to do this? Can we get a train from Glasgow, whatever? Looking at the times, train leaves at 6 in the morning, not going to make it, hitting traffic. Right, we could actually get the train from Dumfries. Not Dumfries. No, it was Carlisle. Carlisle, not Dumfries, Carlisle. So looked at all the train times, train timetables, worked it out. Right, if we leave right now, we can catch that train at Carlisle it'll get you to Birmingham at 11:30. I'm supposed to be there at 12. So me and my dad's just jumped in the car, left Maidens at whatever time, I don't know, maybe 4 in the morning or something. Left, probably before that actually, left, catch the train at Carlisle, and then made it to Birmingham in time to go to this Christmas lunch. So before he even got there, I was like, this is crazy. Like, could have missed that, you know what I mean? Could have just not made the flight, not made the train, would have missed it completely. So gets off the train, jumps in the taxi, straight to Gymshark HQ. I'm in the taxi, you can see the big, you've seen the building, big glass building, Gymshark on the front, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is crazy. Walk in the front door, you speak to the reception, say what you're here for or whatever. They're like, right, oh, let me just grab Noel. Then next thing, double doors open. Noel Mack comes through. He's got like a Santa apron on, like a cooking apron, Santa. He's got another one in his hand. He's like, Graeme, nice to meet you. Just toss me this Santa apron. He's like, come on, we're going to go and give out the Christmas dinners to the staff. And I'm just going, all right, here we go now. Put the apron on and then walk through into this, it's like the big main, I don't know, you'd call it just the big office bit with like the kitchen area, like, and like loads of people are just turned around and looked at me with a Christmas apron on with Noel Mack. And they're just like, what? A few people were like, oh, Graeme, we follow Quest to be a Gymshark. I'm just walking in, I'm just going, what is actually happening here? Like, this is mental. And then Noel's like, right, come on up here. This is what I'll do. And we'll hand out the starters first. And then the whole kitchen area in the Gymshark headquarters. And it's like, whatever the starter was, some sort of salad or whatever. We're just going around and putting it down. There's like 250 staff there, like all getting their Christmas lunch. And what it was like a lot of the kind of, I guess, the upper level management of Gymshark were giving out the lunch to the staff, you know. So, and I was involved with them just dishing out lunch, and then here's your main course and all that. Then it was, I'm doing this. And at that time, I think Ben Francis might have had a meeting somewhere, and he just came at like, I don't know, maybe a half hour later or whatever. And he's like, all right, Graeme, nice to meet you. What we doing? And all that. And I'm like, oh, we're just handing out this turkey and all that. And we're just dishing it out. And I'm just going, this is absolutely bananas. So I just, that was when I first got there. And I'm just like, this is wild. So straight off the train, we're just dishing out Christmas dinners. And I'm just looking about like, it's crazy.
What happened next?
So we gave out all the Christmas dinners. Everyone was so nice. Like, that place is it's just all energy. Like, it's mental. So mental. Everyone was so nice. Gave out all the Christmas dinners. Then everyone kind of went back to work or whatever. Then we sat down, all of us that was giving them out. We sat down. I'm sitting there with Ben and Noel and the rest of the guys. And we're just sitting chatting, and I remember Ben was just like, so what is like Quest to be a Gymshark? How did that happen and all that? And then I just told him the story of what happened, and he was like, that's crazy, man. So I'm just sitting there talking away to Ben and Noel, and I'm just like, this is nuts. So that happened. Then I'm pretty sure, like right now, you know, we started the Gymshark 66 challenge. It happens at the beginning of every year. So I was there, no, actually, when was this? Oh yeah, perfect. So I was there in December, and leading up to that, they were going to be doing Gymshark 66. So all the staff came down, and they were like doing a premiere of the Gymshark 66 campaign video that was going to be getting released in the new year. So they played that on the big screen. Everyone was watching it, and it was class. It's the video Weight of the World. Like, people can look at it on YouTube, but it was like such a sick video. So we're watching that, and I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. Then they're talking about the video, whatever, and then Noel Mack was going up, and he was just talking about a few things, and then he was like, basically just told people about my story or whatever, and said that I was here, told me to come up. Everyone started clapping and all that. My face is bright red, and I'm going, what? And then Noel took his camera out. He's like, right, Graeme, let's take this selfie for today's post or whatever, for today's Quest to be a Gymshark. And then they just took a picture, and the whole of Gymshark HQ's like here, and I'm just like, hey, it was just crazy. So that happened. Then what happened after that? That's when I got like a a kind of tour around the place. They're just showing me the whole headquarters. The place is absolutely insane. That happened. Then that's when like Ben and Noel wanted to go to the gym with me or whatever. And at that point, the Gymshark lifting club wasn't around at that point. So we drove across Birmingham to go to Black Country Barbell is what the gym's called. It's like a big gym in Birmingham. So I'm like driving across Birmingham with Ben and Noel, and we're going to this Black Country Barbell, and I'm just like sitting there like, this is mental. Like, what am I actually doing here? You know, like, this is so good. I'm so lucky here. And then we just went and had a workout and just talking away, like just like me and you're talking right now. Then that was it. I had the workout, and then I just went back to my hotel, and I got a train back up the road the next day. That was the first time that I went to the Gymshark HQ, and it was nuts.
Wow. Did you spend time reflecting on that immediately after, or did you just continue the grind again? Did you let yourself absorb it in?
So it was pretty surreal, honestly. Like, you know, when I went back to the hotel or whatever, I was just like, what just happened there? Like, oh my God. Like, that was so good, and it was just so crazy. I was straight back on just posting my normal quest to be a Gymshark, because I just was like, I'm just going to keep sharing the story. But I would say after I went to the Gymshark headquarters the first time, I was just like, I realised how big Gymshark was, you know, and like, I was like, oh my God, like, this might not happen. I might not be joining the Gymshark team ever, but that's fine, because this is massive. Like, I was always a Gymshark fan, but until that point, and I was there and I was looking at what it actually was, I was just like, didn't fully understand how big of a deal it was prior to that. So I was like, I'm just going to keep posting because this is sick. But
So
yeah,
it was fuel to the fire, that experience. It probably gave you a sense of what Gymshark belonging feels like. Did it motivate you to keep that quest going?
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely motivated me even more, because I was just like, this is so good. Like, this community is amazing. Like, obviously I'd never been in the HQ before, and just to see that many people that, you know, work at Gymshark and stuff, and were just so nice, and it was just like, you just felt good being there, you know. Like you say, I just fired up. I'm like, I'm going to try harder. I can try to be better. So it definitely added fuel to the flame.
What were the days after day 1000 like? What was the next milestone for you?
So that's when I went back up to my mum's, Birmingham, and obviously I was just telling everyone what happened, and I'm like, oh my God, that's nuts. And then what happened? Say like Christmas went past. This was before Christmas. Had Christmas, had New Year. Then maybe I was supposed to be flying back to America on, say, like it was Saturday the 5th of January, right after New Year, probably on the Wednesday. I got a DM from Callum, who was head of sponsorship at the time, just DM me, and he was like, when do you go back to America, mate? And I'm in Scotland at this time, and I'm like, oh, fly back on Saturday, mate. What's happening? And then he was just kind of like, oh, I want to talk to you about something. Is there any way you could come back down to Birmingham on Friday? And then I'm like, well, obviously I'll come down, yeah, definitely. But I'm thinking, like, what is it, kind of thing? Like, and they never said what it was. And I'm like, all right, okay. So then got it all figured out. And it was my dad was driving me down this time, because we're not missing any flights or anything. So we were driving down this time. So that was the Friday. Went down. Maybe we went down the night before. Actually, me and my dad stayed in the hotel. I was going to the HQ the next day. I was to be there at like 9 a.m. Still no clue what is happening. So, or what they want to talk to me about. I go in there. Everyone was just like playing it cool and just saying, "Oh, how was your New Year?" Blah blah blah. Started asking me a few questions about Gymshark, and I was kind of just like, what is going on here?
Did you know? Did you think it was sponsorship at this moment when you first got down?
So I guess after I got the DM and I knew I was going down there, it was a weird one, because in my mind I'm obviously like, oh, that'd be class if that's what it was. But because I'd just been there before and I realised how big of a deal it was, I was like, it might not be that because it's so massive. Like, so I was kind of like, I actually don't know. I was hoping, obviously, I was always hoping that would happen, but I was just like, I actually don't know what this is. I don't know. So when I got there, and we're just playing it cool, and then one of the guys was like, "Oh, Graeme, do you want to come play a bit of FIFA?" And I was kind of like, "All right." And I just went over playing a bit of FIFA. And I'm just like, this is so random, but whatever. I'm just chilling in Gymshark HQ playing FIFA. Then another one of the guys came down and he was like, "Oh, lads, can you stop that game a minute? Can you come and check this out upstairs?" So they'd absolutely had it planned out or whatever. We walked upstairs to like go into, there's like a big conference room in there, like a big conference room upstairs, big massive table and all that. And I'm going, what is happening here? And then we've opened the door, and there's like the whole sponsorship team, Ben, Noel, everyone just sitting there. They've just sat me down, and that's basically when they're like, "Graeme, absolutely love what you've done with Quest to be a Gymshark. Do you want to join the team?" kind of thing. And I was just like, what? So it was absolutely mental. I had no clue it was coming. Just sat down there, and I was like, what? And then that's just what happened.
What were your emotions like after? Did you cry? Who did you tell first?
So I've, I got asked this before. I welled up a little bit. I was a bit emotional. I think I managed to hold it together a little bit, but the guys that were in there will probably tell you a bit different. But I held it in a little bit. I was just absolutely buzzing. Couldn't believe it. Just came out of there. Just told my missus, told my family. Text my dad to say you better come back round here because he was away at the shops. So then my old man came round, and my dad came into the Gymshark HQ and all that. It was mental.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
That is
so it was
amazing. Did you ever suffer at that moment in time or prior to that moment in time? Did you ever suffer from imposter syndrome?
well, I do definitely suffer from it. Like, I'd probably say more so now when you actually join the team, that's when you're like, all right, I'm actually on this team, and there's so many amazing athletes, and just crazy physiques, crazy stories, crazy, just some of the best in the world at what they do. You know what I mean? So sometimes you're just kind of like, I'm actually supposed to be doing this. Like, it's mental. Like, so you do get a bit of imposter syndrome. I probably didn't prior, because prior I was doing, because I'm like, this is just me doing my thing. I'm gonna keep doing it. But then when you join the team, it's just kind of like, am I doing this right? Like, like, I don't know. Yeah, definitely, I get imposter syndrome all the time.
So we mentioned that subconsciously you were noticed on that day 8, and then you were formally recognized on day 365 and 1,000, and then sponsored after that. So you were aware from day at least 365 that there was a magnifying glass on you from either Gymshark or Ben or No. When you knew that they were gazing over your stuff, did you ever lose authenticity, or did you always stay gigs fit from maidens?
I would like to say I always just stayed the same, because you just they wouldn't be like you say, they wouldn't be following you or looking at your stuff if they didn't like you. You know what I mean? So what you've been doing up to that point and just being yourself, that's just what you got to keep doing, because if you're not, like, you can't keep that up. Like, if you're trying to do something for a long period of time, you've got to enjoy doing it, and you've got to just be true to yourself, or else you won't be able to do it for the amount of time that it's needed.
Yeah, I think that's probably what they admired in you, though, because they don't want the same shade of every other athlete. They want something nomadic and something new, which Quest to be a Gymshark was something that was new. And talking about imposter syndrome exists when you're putting something into existence that doesn't exist already, because like you're meant to have imposter syndrome because no one's ever done it, and that's exactly what you've done. How does it feel to be one of the very few Gymshark athletes from Scotland? Is there any other ones?
Yeah, I mean, first, I'm really privileged. Like, I'm so blessed. It's amazing. I think at one point, I think there was 3 of us at one point, but I think currently there might be 2. I think there's a girl, Stephanie Muir. I think our Instagram page is like Naturally Stephanie or something. I think she's from Glasgow. So I could be wrong, but I think there's like 2 of us right now. So that's something I'm really proud of.
You must be. Proud. And to be the only one from Ayrshire or from Maidens.
I know.
You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how many people are sitting at home, seeing your page and talking about you. Oh, I knew Graeme. I used to kick a ball with him, or I used to ask him to the pub, and look at him now. That must be some feeling. Do you ever reflect on that?
I don't really think about that too much, honestly. I just keep doing my thing, really, to be honest. Like, when I go back home and visit, it's just the same as it normally is. You know, I'll just be trying to see all my pals and go and see my family and all that. Like, it's just kind of the same. Like, I don't really think about it too much, to be honest.
How much creative control over your online brand and online presence do you have now that you're sponsored?
I would say I have pretty much full creative control. You know, it's just be yourself and post what you want, really, and bring Gymshark along for the ride in your life and share what you're doing. I guess with that, of course, you need to be sensible with it and not be doing stupid stuff and being an idiot all the time. But apart from that, really, it's full control.
That's great to hear that. I think that's testament to Gymshark's theology that they sponsored you because you are authentic and you're not the same shade of everyone else, and they can let you continue that. How much real time is spent creating online content, and does your loved ones understand that?
You know, it is a considerable amount of time, to be honest. Over the years, I've probably got better at like being able to do it faster. You know, like you can kind of plan out, right, I need to get this content. So let's go and spend an hour or two and knock out a bunch of content that I'm going to need. Then there's a bunch of times you can just get content on the go, like if you know you're doing stuff during the day or whatever. But definitely, the loved ones have been super understanding, especially my missus. She's took loads of pictures of me over the years, you know. So she's been brilliant. But there's definitely quite a bit of time goes into it.
I can imagine that, especially with your day job, with your career in coaching, there must be a high level of time management. What does your morning routine look like?
Morning routine? For the most part, I normally wake up relatively early, go and brush teeth or whatever. Then I've started spending probably about 20 minutes just reading in the morning. I'll read whatever book I'm on, read for a little bit. Then after that, I'll just get up and get moving a little bit. Take a big swig of water. Start to check, the socials and then emails and stuff like that. And I mean, it's helped me a lot. I'll normally have most of my days planned out prior. I'll follow a bit of a schedule and I'll fill that schedule up as things arise. So the day before, I'll know what's coming up. So we'll have that planned out. But in the morning, yep, just up, brush your teeth, do a bit of reading, get the body moving, drink of water. I'll have my caffeine, which is my kind of monster at one point, and then just crack on with the day, really.
I love that. There's a real sense of serving yourself before you serve others, and there's also a sense of consistency, which is essentially the brand behind Quest to be a Gymshark. We always see on Instagram that you're paying the man. What does this mean? Does it mean delayed gratification?
Yeah, it just means just like paying your dues. You know what I mean? Like if you want something, you got to pay for it. And it actually came from a Rocky film. Like I think it's on Rocky 1 or whatever. At that point, like Rocky, before he's like a boxer or a professional boxer, he's like a debt collector. And then he has a saying, he's like, if you want to dance, you got to pay the band. And if you want to borrow, you got to pay the man. So that's where it came from. Me and some of my mates said it a few years ago. It was like, just pay the man. So anytime you're working out or you're trying to get better for the future, yep, you got to pay the man. Like if you want something to happen, you got to put in the work.
I love it. Going back to Gymshark, what are the real perks of being a Gymshark athlete? How many days do you wear the clothes?
Well, I think every single day is when I wear them. People have banter when they see me in normal clothes these days, you know. So I wear it all the time. People are like, "Oh my God, you're not in gym clothes or Gymshark. Like, you look normal." So I wear it all the time. Wear it all the time. I guess the perks. First off, it's just a privilege in itself. You know, like you're part of what I would describe as one of the best teams in the world. You know, like the athletes are just incredible. The community is incredible. The people at Gymshark and what it stands for is amazing. So it's just a privilege to be part of that. You know, obviously you get sent the clothes that I was buying for years anyway, so that's really nice. You know, you get all the newest Gymshark outfits, which is class. You get to go to, like, well, obviously COVID stopped it, but you get to go to events and stuff like that and be involved in cool projects that they do. You get to meet tons of cool people. I guess it was a really good privilege that, because I was the same way. There's obviously this fascination around Gymshark and what they're doing. So with being part of the team, there is people that reach out to you and ask you questions, and you know, it could be any questions like, what size do you wear in this t-shirt, or how did you do this or that, or here's my progress, physique updates and stuff like that. So when people reach out to you with that kind of stuff, like, that's amazing. You know, it's so cool. So I'd probably say that's like the basket of perks that I really enjoy.
I love that insight. I think so many will be curious about that, and I think that's not just my dream, but everyone's dream. However, is there any lowlights? Do you ever become overconsumed or overwhelmed by it? How do you remember to take in real life when you're spending so much time on like a virtual life, a meta life online?
Yep. Yeah, I would say I don't think I've really been overwhelmed too much. I've been lucky in that respect, but I would say definitely recently, over the past year or so, especially, I've tried to separate a little bit more stuff for like offline. You know, like, don't be on the phone all the time and on social media as much. Like, there'll be times if I'm like, all right, we're going out a walk, there'll be times I'll leave the phone like in my car or in the house or whatever, or I'll switch it off. Or there'll be times maybe at night I'll be like, right, I'm actually going to stay off my phone after 9 p.m. or whatever. I do little things like that sort of helped me.
I love it. Why does Quest to be a Gymshark still exist? What's your motivation behind keeping it going? Do you struggle to give it up because you love the process almost as much as what the process bought you?
Yeah, good question. What I would say is I kept it going because when it was leading up to the point of like, oh, Gymshark have invited me to this photo shoot or to the HQ and stuff, obviously in my mind I was like, even before that, I guess, but you're thinking, what would actually happen? What would you do if they said, do you want to be on the team? Like, what would you do? And I thought about that for quite a while. And what I thought was I'd want to keep it going because I wanted people to be like, what is Quest to be a Gymshark and what happened, and know about the story. And then they could be like, all right, there's actually tangible evidence that you can scroll through my Instagram feed and be like, every single day he posted to try and get closer to that goal until it made it happen, you know? So I just felt like once it made it happen, I still had loads of work to do, you know what I mean? I still want to be as best as I can be and get better and share the story with more people. So I just felt like if I kept Quest to be a Gymshark going, still over time, more and more people will ask what Quest to be a Gymshark is, because they still do to this day. And if I didn't have that in my caption, you know, if I stopped that 2 years ago, there's so many people within this 2 year period till today that wouldn't have saw it because they're not going to scroll back, you know. But if they see it in my post, they'll be like, "What's that?" Or because they asked me, and then that's when I can be like, "Well, this is what it is," and then hopefully people will be like, "Oh, well, that's actually sick." Now, and the main reason I thought of that was when I played football prior to Quest to be a Gymshark. That's the process I went through. Every day I had to practice at football. I had to go to training, get better, practice myself. Like every day it was like a relentless thing. but there was no way. I didn't know what I was going through at that time. I was just doing it because I loved it, and even there wasn't really social media at that time anyway, so I couldn't document it. So when this time came around, I was like, right, I'm going to take the same principles as I used for football, and I'm going to apply it to this, and I'm going to track it over time so that you can actually see it. So I've kept it going because I think there's still work to be done. I think that more people need to see what actually happened.
I think it is. It's very inspiring. When something I took away from that is that I know Gymshark's been around for what we categorize as a while, but as a brand, as a fitness brand in comparison to its competitors, it's still in its infancy. So the role of a Gymshark athlete is still evolving, and it's like you're almost still on that quest to grow with Gymshark. I absolutely love it. And have you seen anyone else use the caption or the hashtag quest to be a Gymshark trying to mirror your journey because they've been inspired by you?
Yeah, there's actually been a few people. There's a lot of people messaged me when it all happened, and there was people that started their own sort of quest to be a Gymshark, and there's people that started their own variation of a similar journey, and they would just call it something different, which was really cool. So yeah, quite a few people have got involved and tried to do something similar.
I love that. I think the caption or hashtag quest to be anything resonates with me. As long as you can apply consistency, patience, determination, and hard work to essentially any passion, and if you stay your true self throughout that, it should come to fruition. It might take 5 years, it might take 10 years, but as long as you are disciplined enough, I think anyone can make almost anything happen to a reasonable extent. So I listened to your various podcasts at the beginning of the year. What's changed since then? Did 2020 go to plan?
The first answer I would have to say it probably didn't go to plan. What I think we all had stuff planned and it just didn't happen because of 2020. But I'm definitely happy with what ended up transpiring in 2020. Trying to think what has changed. Not a whole lot, really. Just that's a good question. Not a whole lot. Just little things here and there that you're planning for 2021, I guess. Obviously, there was a lot more virtual stuff got taken care of in 2020. Content changed a little bit, I guess. We did more at home content. But that's really it. Not a whole lot.
I think that answers testament to you. You're still paying the man, ticking the boxes, being consistent. Nothing's changed. I love it. If you go back in time and give Geeks Fit, who's just about to post his first quest to be a Gymshark post, some advice, what would you give him?
I would tell him to be patient. I'll tell him to be patient. I tell him to go with his gut because it's probably going to be the right thing to do. I'd say keep doing things for the right reasons and don't give up and just keep it going. That's what I'd tell him.
I love it. I think that's sound advice for a career or a pursuit in any passion. A question I always ask on the podcast, I think I've asked it in every single episode. How do you separate at Geeks Fit and Graeme Eaglesham? Are they the same person, or do you have to identify as the boyfriend, the brother, the son at times, or are they unanimous?
I would like, I'd like to say they're unanimous. So it's just the same because I'm the same person online as I am offline. I would say the only difference is, there's some things in my private life that I probably don't post online. I try and keep some things a little bit separate for the most part, but ultimately it's the same thing. Like if you talk to me in person, it's the same if you talk to me in a DM, or if you comment on a post and I reply to a comment, like it's just the same person. I just probably separate some of my personal life at times.
I think people who follow you will probably recognize that you're just an all-round sound guy. And one of the things I love seeing on your feed, and I've loved since you've embarked on the trend, is TikTok. Are you enjoying it?
Oh, I've been loving the TikTok. That was probably the biggest thing that changed in 2020. I was just posting TikToks all the time. But now I've been loving it. Absolutely loving it.
Good stuff, mate. So what's next for Graeme Eaglesham or Geeks Fit? What's next?
I would say just keep going the way we're going. I would say still got a lot of work to do in terms of can I always try and improve, my content, or can I motivate more people, or how can I be as best a Gymshark as I can be. That's in terms of the online stuff. Offline, we're coaching a lot of football and sports with future kids. Just got to grow that. That's our offline business. So just those two things, and then just keep going the way we're going.
Keep paying the man. Graeme, it's been a pleasure. Where can the people find you online?
No, thanks a lot for having me on, mate. It's been fun. Online, I would say Instagram, it's at GeeksFit. Then TikTok is at GeeksFit1. Twitter, G_Eeks. And then on YouTube, if you just type in Graeme Eaglesham, the channel should just pop right up.
Thank you, mate. I'll make sure to link them all in the show notes below and all of my social medias. Thank you for coming along. I think you've given the listeners a perspective of what it's like to be and become a Gymshark athlete, why determination, patience, consistency trumps talent and skill. I'm just so appreciative that you came on, mate, and it's an absolute pleasure to connect. Thank you.
No, thanks a lot for having me, mate. That was brilliant. Thank you.